with Matt with Legacy 5, bass singer, and we're talking quartets today, Matt.
I know.
Cathedral quartet specifically.
Yes, sir.
And if you're a bass singer and we're talking cathedral quartet, we got to be talking George Johns.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be singing some of these cathedral songs and be singing the bass part like George.
Well, not quite like George.
Well, yeah, I hear
not
that.
Quite like George.
How does that
yeah.
hit you? I mean, that would scare me to death.
What? I know. I was around earlier when you were talking to Nick and Pat and some of these other guys, and I've heard listening to what they were saying to you, and my story is a little bit different in that I didn't start in gospel music until 2004.
Wow.
And
so you were an adult.
Up to that point, I was 21.
Okay.
And up to that point, I had not heard of the Cathedrals. So
where did you live?
I lived about 40 miles from the Gaither compound in Muncie, Indiana, but I had been to a couple concerts, but I had never heard of the Cathedrals. And so when I started, they had already been retired for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And so just the name was still so prominent that it's like, okay, I got to check these guys out.
Yeah.
So I started going to YouTube and different places and buying CDs and different things, and I started recognizing some of their songs that I had heard before. I just didn't know that they were cathedral songs. So that's kind of the background that I had. And so once I heard George singing and heard all the songs that they did and songs that I already knew and loved, I just fell in love even more with George's singing, specifically to your question,
yeah,
and to their music, and then catching all the other songs that were great songs that I had not heard before. So it was just a different, I could just come from a different way to the Cathedrals and to grow in my appreciation and love for the music that they did. Yeah.
You realize that's kind of like a country star today saying, I heard everybody talking about this guy. His name was George Jones, but I'd never heard him sing anything before.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of taken aback by that.
Yeah, it's an odd story. I grew up in a very conservative church that sang Southern gospel music. A lot of the songs that we sang, like the Cathedral songs, I didn't know were popular Southern gospel songs in the industry, #1 songs.
Yeah, yeah.
I just didn't know that they were. As far as I knew, they were just songs that Mom and Pa wrote down in Tennessee that, my grandparents grew up singing, and they brought them up to Indiana, So, it's very, very odd, but I mean, that's my story. That's
you're
how
sticking
I came
to it, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, it's very, very peculiar story there.